I came from the adult industry, but then I transitioned into the mainstream industry, but I encountered a lot of issues with my transition and people not accepting me into the mainstream world. So I have really gotten to the point where there are days to weeks at a time where I don't leave my house because I don't feel like facing the world of what has been created out there for me.
This is a very important topic that a lot of people have misconceptions about because they don't understand really how the world works when it comes to respect. As a man and as a woman, you have to earn respect. But there's two different types of respect. There's a respect that you have to earn because it's not deserved, and then there's general human decency. That's a level of respect too. So if I come past somebody or walk past somebody that is dressed the way I don't like, that doesn't mean I get to spit right in their face, right? That's human decency. I don't get to just, punch somebody I don't like or take their things or just abuse them, damage their property. I don't get to do those things because that's human decency. Everybody deserves that respect because we're all made in the image of God. We're not all God's children. We talked about it in a previous video, but we're all made in the image of God. So we deserve human decency. Then there's a respect you have to earn. The respect that you have to earn is what we're going to be talking about in this video. I saw this video of this young woman who was in the adult industry. Y'all know what that means. And it's just insane to me that people think all respect does not have to be earned, but should just be given out freely at the same level as somebody who has spent their life earning respect. Watch this video with me and you'll see why it's so offensive to have a lot of these ideas as if you are entitled to people's respect on the same level as someone who worked their whole life to earn that respect.
It's really easier for me just to stay inside my house and not put myself out there for hurt, because I gave up between $30,000 and $60,000 a month. And I could go back to porn today and still make that. I could go back to porn and make $20,000 just in 1 week if I wanted to this week. And I don't, because that's how much I don't want my photos on the internet.
This is why we as men, we have to value women that have character. I'm not talking about just putting down a woman that doesn't have character. I'm talking about truly valuing a good woman. The Bible says when you find a wife, you find a good thing. You have to let your wife know you are a valued woman of character. I appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you are not on social media slutting out yourself for any attention from any man. I appreciate that. As a husband, you need to let your wife know, I find you attractive. I find you beautiful, because you are not going out there and seeking that attention and validation from any old man. You got to let them know, because every other girl in the modern era is going and doing dumb stuff like that, where they're seeking out attention from men and they go to the internet for their validation. And we have to let the women that are doing it right know we value you.
I wish that people would treat me how they would treat a married, registered nurse with 2.5 kids in Indiana. That's how I wish people would treat me.
How would that change your life if they treated you that way?
I would be so happy. I don't know. I never even thought about that before. But it'll never happen. That's probably why I don't think about it.
The other thing that we have to teach the young women is that you don't deserve respect. You don't deserve just to have every single person's admiration. Okay? When you make life choices, you have consequences for those choices. You don't get to just say, well, I want to be treated like a wife and I'm not married. No, you don't. You don't get to say, I want people to treat me as if I have a master's degree or a doctorate when I don't. No, you got to put in the work to earn that. I want people to treat me as if I'm not a whore when I spent my life putting on my whore actions on the internet. No, it doesn't work like that. Actions have consequences. And a lot of Christians get this confused because they mix up the forgiveness of God with ignoring sin. That is not how God's forgiveness works. God's forgiveness comes after you acknowledge your own sin. You know, every day when I pray, I got to come and ask God for forgiveness for my previous sins. I got to say, God, I am a low down, dirty sinner. In Romans, it says, my righteousness is as filthy rags. No one seeks after God, not even one person. God is not impressed by our pursuit of trying to be righteous. The only thing that saves us is that Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins. So when people sit up here and act as being a Christian is ignoring someone's sin, they do not understand true Christianity. It is not by ignoring sin that you come to the truth of the gospel. It is by acknowledging your sin and that only Jesus Christ can save you. That is why a lot of these women who do these things, who are going out there whoring, which is a biblical word, by the way, they think that when they come to Christianity, that people should just ignore. Without them changing their lives or repenting or turning their life to Jesus Christ, they think they should just walk in a church and people should just ignore as they continue to live that life. That's not Christianity, folks. Christianity is, once you walk in here, we will tell you about Jesus Christ, and we will tell you he has the power to change you from an old creature to a new creature. Okay? So you don't get the right to say, oh, I want the same respect as somebody who lived who lived a good life. You have to earn that. And the women who have earned it deserve our utmost respect. I think of my grandmas and my mom and people in my life and the women that I respect and how they have such class and modesty. They had to earn that. You don't just get to dress however you want and then just say, respect me. It don't work like that.
There are some things that no matter how open-minded you are, other people will never be, and that you shouldn't do. And I send a very strong message to young girls: don't do porn. It's fun, you're making money, and that's the truth. It is, and there's nothing wrong with porn, but how people treat you for the rest of your life, it's not worth it.
And there's nothing wrong with porn.
This is the payoff. You get me? Some people don't understand that when you have taken action, it has consequences. You made choices that you wanted to live by. And because you had your fun at the time you wanted to do it, you got your quick results, and the people who long suffered, they get their long-term results. Look at this. While you was having hot girl summer, the good girls with character were getting married. While you were sleeping with multiple men, she was struggling to get along with her husband. While you was looking sexy on IG, she was pregnant and sacrificing her body for her future kids. While you was clubbing at parties, she was at home teaching her children and changing diapers. When you was at photo shoots getting all this random attention, she was at softball games watching her children and developing them. While you was at phone parties getting naked in bikinis, she was waking up early for church. While you was sleeping in because you partied the night before, she was waking up getting her kids ready for school, church, and the things that develop her family. It takes sacrifice to be a good, godly woman. We need to acknowledge that. They talk about single mothers don't get respect. Real mothers who have husbands, they don't get enough respect. Because it takes, when the Bible talks about in Proverbs, the attributes of a godly woman, we need to, when we find one of those, you need to say, this is a godly woman. She deserves respect. But guess what? On the flip side of that, if you want to live a whore life and you want to go around and play around and do all this hot girl summer stuff, you get the results of that. You don't get to ask that you have the same respect as a godly woman has, because that's hard earned. The godly woman will tell you, it ain't easy to sit up and ignore all these other girls that ask them to go out and do this slut stuff. That's fun stuff. That's fun to go out and get attention from random men, to go to the clubs and get drunk and wake up where you don't know where you at. It's fun to do those things. It's a sacrifice to be married. And a lot of women need to understand that. If you don't want to make that sacrifice, you'll have the same results this young lady do. And it's hard for me to feel sorry for her, even though I do to a certain extent, because as people are young, they don't have the ability all the time to see around corners in the way an older person does. But they still have enough wisdom to know right from wrong. God implanted that in all of our hearts, and she made the wrong choice. And you got to live with those consequences.
Ooh, you so judgmental. judgmental. So judgmental. And you call yourself a Christian. Talking about this girl's body count and what she do on her free time is her business. She got a right to be as much of a thought as she wanna be. It ain't none of your concern. Don't the Bible say, accept people as they are? What you mean? Would I marry her? Marriage? Don't disrespect me! I ain't the one to play with. You better watch your mouth. I ain't marrying a thought. You must be out your cotton picking mind. You think I'ma take that girl home, but she got the right to do what she wanna do. We should respect her. You ain't gonna be with me playing them games. Last girl that wanna play them games, she found herself straight up in the hospital. How you like that, Sharita? Was Marvin worth it? How does it feel messing with me, stepping out on me, that you ain't never gonna be able to walk again? Was he worth it? But a woman has the right to do whatever she wants with her body. You don't get to make that decision for her. And after I get my stimulus check, I'm coming to get you too, Marvin. You ain't got to wait just because you move state to state. I don't got no problem taking a trip. That AR got a scope on it. You feel me? You can't run from me. I ain't the one to play with. Think you gonna take my woman? I don't play those games. So what I'm saying is you don't get the right to judge nobody. Be a Christian. Don't listen to the Zeal brothers. Love, peace, joy, and thought.